Hey, welcome back. This is Carla with DiscoverYourCenter.com, and we are talking about spring. And this is part of my spring series that's coming out in my blog and newsletter, where we're just looking at simple practices we can begin to incorporate into the seasonal change so that we can align and feel more vibrant with that spring energy. What happens is our bodies naturally want to detox in the seasonal shift. They really want to move winter and all the toxins that have accumulated out. And if we don't tune into that and we keep moving along with the heavy foods in the same way we've been eating through the winter to restore, then we'll probably find ourselves feeling a bit sluggish, and that often manifests in congestion. Congestion maybe in the back of the throat, like postnasal drip, sinus, allergies, respiratory infections. These are the things that happen when we don't align with the body's natural desire to detox. So last week we talked about hydration and the importance of getting water, and today I want to talk a little bit about nourishment through food and green. To keep it simple, I really kind of want to focus on the green aspect of it. Spring arrives and we start to see green all around us, and that can be a great reminder that nature's trying to nourish us. Nature's trying to feed us. So if we look at what is seasonal and start there, and we can also look at the greens in particular. The bitters of the greens can naturally detoxify the system. So the ways that we do this in our family is smoothies is the first and foremost. I feel like creating a green smoothie, or this one's rather purple or red because kids often don't like the green, so we can find a way to work with that, is a green smoothie first thing in the morning after they've hydrated, after we've all hydrated, because this can be a great way to get good nutrients into the blood and into the body, and it's so nourishing. And if you're starting for the first time with a green smoothie, you just take a couple handfuls of greens. In general, spinach might be good. This is spinach from our local market, and it's just beautiful. I always say go to the market first if you don't have any in your garden yet, and second you go to a store and get organic. There are these really cool pea shoots coming up here in North Carolina as well. And then we have some parsley popping up from a little pot in the front of our apartment from last fall. But you want to take 1 to 2 handfuls of greens. Now, if you're working with smoothies with your kids and it's their first time, I recommend really sticking with the fruits. And the seasonal fruits would be berries. You want to look towards berries. And they're very red and fun and vibrant in color, so kids often think that's pretty cool. And you would just start with a few green leaves and then work your way up to adding 1 handful, 2 handfuls of spinach. So I like to personally keep my smoothies at room temperature, because anything cold, if you remember from last week and hydrating, when we move ice water or cold into the system, it can almost sort of put out the digestive fire, and we want to stimulate digestion right now. So if you find that it's a little bit difficult to digest these green smoothies, then I recommend either slightly warm or room temperature, and I like to put a little bit of ginger in mine to boost that digestion as well. So the second way to get more greens into your spring diet would just simply be with a salad. And what I do is in the morning I'll make a salad, toss in some greens and anything else I want in that salad. And I put the dressing on in the morning and massage it in or just stir it all up and let it sit. I even let it sit on the counter. And that's typically my lunch and my dinner. And by dressing it early and eating it again at room temperature, it's easier to digest, because we really want to support the digestive system. When we come off winter, everything's a little sluggish and slow. The Agni, as Ayurveda would call it, or we would say the digestive fire, is slow. Our digestion is slow, and we want to boost it up. So that hydration, and ginger is a great spice to keep things boosted. Liquidy things, the less work your digestive system has to do, the more you're supporting it, right? So these salads, if we dress them up and let them sit throughout the day, then they're going to be easier to digest. You can also add to your smoothies or your salads wild edibles from your region. So I'm talking about weeds. You can go out and get dandelions or thistles If you haven't seen my blog post on Healthy Kids Eat Weeds from last year, go ahead and check that out. My girls love to go and find wild edibles that we can throw into smoothies or into salads, and they tend to be more bitter, but it's fun. I mean, kids have a lot of fun with that, and they're so packed with nutrients, so they're really bringing in the nutrition for you. And then another one that is really fun for me and for kids is sprouting. And sprouting is so easy. It takes about 1 to 2 minutes of your day, and you can try to eat like up to a cup full of sprouts. If you think about it, they're so young. They're these young greens and they grow so fast. So they pack so many nutrients into just one little serving, and they're very expensive in the store. And you can do this for very little cost at home. I have ordering, sometimes I can get them from a local health food store. And if I can't, I like to go to sproutpeople.com, and if you go to Sprout People, they have a series of videos that are awesome that show you how to actually sprout. Some people do it in a mason jar. That's the way I started, just soaking seeds. I have some buckwheat sprouts or seeds soaking right here in this little bowl, and I'm about ready to drain them. And I have this little sprouter that I found on Amazon, I believe. It has several trays, and when we moved, we lost the cover, but I just gently lay a towel over it. And you put the seeds in, or first you soak the seeds for, depending on what kind of seeds, your packet will tell you anywhere from 4 to 8 hours. Sometimes I usually do it overnight because that's the easiest thing to do. Then watch them for a few days as you're rinsing them 2 to 3 times during the day. When they start to get green, I put them into a bowl of water where I can shake off all the little hulls, and they're ready to eat, full of nutrition. So those are 3 ways to really naturally work with your body during the season. Think green, think liquidy, think seasonal, and spice it up a little bit. So on your salads, bring in some spices that can boost digestion. Ginger is always at the top of my list. Coriander, cumin, also really good for digestion. Same thing in my smoothies, like I mentioned, I like to put a little ginger in them. And the sprouts in and of themselves, you can toss them on your salad or in your smoothie, or eat them on their own. So I hope this was helpful. You can head on over to discoveryourcenter.com for more information, and we'll see you next week.